Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Coach Lorianne. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower you to fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you too can feel empowered to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed. Welcome to the show. We're so happy that you're with us. As always, on Healthy Lifestyle, we're going to give you some verbal caffeine so we can light you up with possibilities. Today on the show, we have the most beautiful Ilene Marcus. She runs Aligned Workplace, showing C-suiters and their teams how to manage themselves. Ilene speaks on shifting your perspective to accelerate purpose, resulting in high staff engagement, greater satisfaction, and growing the bottom line, which is what we all want to do in our businesses. For over 32 years, it's not even possible. When you see her, she looks younger than that. Ilene spearheaded a high-stakes team managing new ventures, billions of dollars, and over 10,000 people. Ilene earned both her MSW and MPA from Columbia University. And she's an author of Managing Annoying People. Gosh, I wish I knew you years ago. And blogger for 60 and Me, a Techstars All-Star Global Facilitator leading Seed Accelerator. And Ilene travels the country mentoring entrepreneurs to start and scale businesses. Ilene is a natural motivator, a cheerleader, someone who must be one of my sisters from another mister, using her hard-won lessons to pass on words of wisdom, what she refers to as wows, holding up a mirror to see your actions as others do and what's possible. I love this. Welcome to the show, Ilene. I'm so happy to have you on.
So happy to be here. I love that intro. Thank you.
Oh gosh, no worries. I love letting people know, what you can do. You're so yummy. We do similar things as coaches. We love empowering people. There's so many people to serve, and we each have our group of people. But I want to start to back up for a second and ask you, because I know you manage a lot of people, and you help them with behavior issues, right? So why does managing our own behavior matter?
People are smarter than we think, and they see the underlying emotion, even when we think we're being even-handed, we're being calm, we're being sophisticated. If we're coming at it with anger or terror or fear or anxiety, people are like dogs. They can tell those emotional states. Right? And when we bring that to a team, that's what we might be saying. Oh, sure, go after that plan. It sounds great. Or let's do that attack. But if you're holding in and saying, oh, I don't know about that. How am I going to explain that to my bosses? What's next? They are going to feel that, that double messaging and not really feel confident in their own abilities.
Yeah, we speak about that on Healthy Lifestyle. The nonverbal is way more stronger than the verbal. So the nonverbal, that vibration, that ruh-roh kind of feeling is going to penetrate. Have you ever been in a room? I'm sure you have. And it's not fun, where somebody walks in, you're having a great old time, everybody is collaborating, and then somebody walks in the room and like the energy gets sucked out of that room. That's an energetic shift caused by doubt, by negativity, things like that. That means they're vibrating in a different level. And so when you say that behavior matters, it really does. And it's not that you want them to show up genuinely, right? You're not saying don't show up genuinely.
Of course not. And if you are anxious or if you're doubtful, right? So how would you handle that situation? I love this idea. I'm glad we hit on it. I have to think about how I'm going to sell it, or let's discuss some of the pitfalls, but let's say it's a go. So just give them the whole round opinion so they're not hearing one thing and saying, you know what I'm saying? They're not seeing the disconnect.
Yeah, and they're not feeling something different, and they're getting this. And a lot of people yet don't realize, they don't go into their, I keep pointing to my chest, because they don't go to their interior, they don't go to their instincts and say, ooh, why am I feeling that way? Which if we really relied more on that and we went inward, we know we have the answers. We already have the answers to majority of the questions we ask other people. We're just looking for validation. We already know what we want to do. We already know what the answer is. Have you ever gone to mom and said, I know she's going to say no, but I got to ask her. And you just know that what the answer is. You know what's right and wrong, right?
Yeah, and I also say it's not just your gut and your head, it's also your heart, right? You want that balanced triangle. You want to feel that this feels warm and fuzzy. This is not, the squirrels aren't busy up here. They're
In
saying,
your brain.
yes, there are might be some barriers, but this, and then in your gut, it's not saying, wait, don't go, don't go. So you really want that balance of all three things. And we stay in our head. And when we take nonverbal clues from others, we continue to stay there and don't get into our own feelings.
Yeah. And what happens too is when we get into our head, that little cortex in the back of our head that is like, warning, 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 Dr. Smith. If you don't understand that reference, Google it. That means you're too young. But if you get that sense, you got to go back into your heart, because again, your instincts and your intuition, your heart will know the difference. Your head is there to work as a different function. So what inspired you to explore the concept that reactions can be more impactful than actions? I love this.
I'm so glad you love it. And
Love it.
you just said it, right? You just said it. The brain, the neocortex, the lymphatic part of us reacts quicker by nonverbal clues and other things. So we can have the best laid plans, the best speech, the best way that we're going to approach something. And one thing, it could be the way someone's eating cereal. It could be a question, or it could be, I don't know, the phone rings at the wrong time. One thing sets us off and we react, and it changes everything. And this happens all the time, especially in business meetings, right? Where we are so ready to give them what we want to say, and all of a sudden something takes us off the track, and our reaction is so much more powerful than what we planned. They can tell you're angry, you're mad, you're unsure, all of those things.
Yeah, yeah. And I always told my kids when they were growing up, I was like, truth is words and action, not one or the other. So that's why the nonverbal is important too. So if somebody has that reaction like you're talking about, we get a lot of what that person's character is about and what they came in. They had a different agenda, and now the agenda is going in a different direction they don't like, and they're reacting poorly or badly. I always say that's a cause for pause.
I love that, cause for pause.
We should take a moment, hit that pause button, and just digest. And being present. What about being present? Do you think when you're present, you react that same way?
No, I agree. I'm all about that pause, that moment of grace, I call it, that moment from God where we can actually stop, we can actually stop before we take the bait or act like that. Because once we react and we don't feel good about something, it's down the rabbit hole. You can't regroup, right? You say things. We talk about, a lot of time now, especially as I get older, talk about people who are dying, actually. And, there are some really nasty people when they're at the end of their life, and there are some really kind people. This is a hard analogy, and I can't believe I'm going here, but let's do it. So people always ask me, why is it? Why would they be mad? And I'm like, people become more of who they are as they age. And when you react without thinking, you show up exactly who you are. You reveal something to everyone about your interior, right? Which, like you say, is not showing up authentic, and is actually letting them see inside of you, just like you might at the end of your life, where everybody has regrets, but it's that one glimpse into seeing the way someone handles something that really says, I want to be part of them. I don't want them in my world. What role do I want them to have in my life?
Yeah.
And as managers, mothers, lovers, friends, we want to be in the people's lives we want. We don't want to have that one reaction that, is in our head and comes from what I like to say hysterical, right? Stuff that was in our past dictate our relationships now.
Yeah.
So we really want to stay in the moment and use anything we can to be present in these conversations.
Yeah. Because we grow, and I hear people say, oh, you can't change. Oh, you can. It's effort, and you have to be cognitive of it, because you have to, everything starts with awareness, right? So if you're aware, then you can make a choice to change or not to change. Sometimes it's like, I'm aware, and I'm perfectly fine with it. Okay. A matter of fact, an analogy to what you just said is, and I did this a lot in business, I still do, is I'll take someone out on a golf course because they play very nicely, and they're good people for the first couple of holes. But as they relax into the 18 holes and 4 hours and maybe 5 hours worth of play, you start seeing who they are. So if they're people who are throwing their clubs, that's how they're going to be in business. If you see people who are, no, you go first, and very polite, and that's how they're going to be in business. That's who they are. That's just the core. It's also like dating. The first 3 months, everybody's on their best behavior. And then all of a sudden you start seeing these things. I'm like, where did that come from? And that's, again, because we can only hold that not genuineness for a certain amount of time. So being present really allows you to be who you are. And what do you think about this? Is there safety in protecting yourself, or do you imprison yourself by protecting yourself and not really being who you are?
It's a double-edged sword. You think you're being safe. You think you're protecting yourself, but you're really closing yourself off. People can tell who you are. People can tell that you're not, it hurts you in the long run. It totally hurts you in the long run. So I think that you have to be very careful. And, I love what you just said about the 18 holes, or, we look at how people pay treat the waiter or the waitress at the restaurant, those kind of things. I think that all of those things are very important about who you choose to be around and how you choose to exist every day. I call it your BS. And by that, I mean your blind spots, what you can't see about yourself. And you're absolutely right, Laura. You can choose to see it and say, but that's who I am. I'm not addressing it, but noticing it and at least knowing who you are is a huge step into how you react and deal with others.
That's self-awareness, and there's nothing wrong. Whatever choice you make is the right choice for you. Other people may not like it, and you may not be in their lives, and that's okay because they don't go for you. It's sort of a business. Well, it is a business analogy, but it really goes back to the human core. I have a client who has a salon, and she was getting these people asking for coupons and discounts on Facebook to come to her salon. And she's like, but I don't give out coupons and discounts. These are my prices. And I love that about her, that these are her prices. She knows her value, right? And I was like, but those aren't your people. There's nothing wrong with saying no. They're just not your people. They have other people who will be more where they want to be. So by being aware, especially self-aware, and that's why universe, God, source, however you refer to your higher power, they mirror you to you with people they have put coming into your life. There's a reason why that annoying person is there. The question is, and be curious, is what am I supposed to learn from this person? Because they're annoying the bejeebas out of me. And sometimes you say, oh, I do that. And then you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to do that anymore because it's annoying the bejeebas out of me. I don't want to annoy other people. Or you may say, you know what? I'm perfectly content with who I am. And those are the people who are what we refer to, and I'm sure you do as well, as people comfortable in their own skin. They know who they are. They're good with who they are. It's okay what other people think. They're centered here, and nothing you can say will change their their straight upness, their knowing of who they are. And those are the people, doesn't matter what words you use, doesn't matter what you call them. They're like, okay. I call them green hair people. They're green hair. You can tell them they have green hair. They're going to be like, okay, but they know they don't have green hair, right? So that it goes to reactions influencing our perceptions of ourselves and others, right?
Yes. And a lot of times, you're right. We hide who we are. And then when it comes out, it's not good. You hit on something else. I always say there are 3 types of people that annoy you. But the truth is, the book is really about managing ourselves, right? Because it's always our reaction, our trigger. So there are people, like you said, someone is going to annoy the bejesus out of me. They eat slow. They ask for coupons when they don't want to give it. They talk loud, whatever it is. Then there are people that are mirrors. They remind us of ourselves or something we want or something we don't have. And we have to look at ourselves. And those are really hard ones. And then there are people that I call reminders. They could be like an old teacher, a sister, someone that just always treated you a certain way and you never felt good about. And once you know why you're triggered, exactly what you said, you can decide, I'm not letting that person in my head. I'm not letting that impact me. Or boy, I want to go work with that. Or not today. I'm just going to say, okay, I have green hair.
Yeah, yeah. And your book that you referred to is Managing Annoying People. I know you have another book coming out. We'll talk about that in the second half. But Managing Annoying People, can they get that on Amazon, or can they go to your website, alignedworkplace.com, and get it there?
Amazon, absolutely. And as you've been saying this, there's a quote in the book that I think is great. It's an old cartoon, and it says, "Good meeting. I totally agree with everything you didn't say." So that nonverbal behavior is really key to how people want to be attracted to you. Instead of you showing them who you are, you're really showing them who you are when you don't.
Yeah.